welcome to episode 15, we think, pretty sure. A couple of things to talk about today. Hopefully it won't take long. Let us know, guys, whether you prefer the longer videos or the shortest ones, what platforms you prefer to watch them on, all that sort of stuff, and help us make this what you're kind of looking for and something that you're happy to spread around if you think what we're doing is important enough to even spread around. Carly, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm a bit run down,
Yeah.
but all right. How are you, Tim?
I'm doing all right. I've been a bit of a normie lately and not following too much what's actually been happening. And so a little bit of ignorance is bliss. It's a good little holiday.
It's good, isn't it?
Like that all the time. Otherwise, eventually it catches up with us. So, and I've watched you've put out a couple of videos without me, and they're doing pretty well on social media stuff. So we'll find out with this episode whether I'm actually helping you or if I'm holding you back.
It's not that. It's the ones that I do by myself are the controversial ones.
That's it. Well, people like There's a couple of real quick things, I suppose. The name change on one of your Facebook pages.
Yes.
Well,
and
that seems to be received well.
Yeah. And it's good because I can actually talk about more things because it was no more national parks. And, I'd start talking about, the problems with the libs and, other things. And people are like, what's this got to do with a national park? And I'm like, just the death stare. And it annoyed me. And so I've changed it to Carly Unfiltered. So I can say whatever I want because it's unfiltered.
Whatever you want about whoever you want.
Yep.
Very good. And I think that is probably a good natural progression as you've become sort of more politically aware. You realise there's a lot more than just the national parks issues, and some of them are connected very loosely, some not at all, but they matter.
It all matters.
So you're picking up your voice on those issues. So yeah, you obviously like being the tip of the spear and getting smashed all the time. No? Okay.
It's kind of like a sacrificial lamb. Like somebody's got to do it. It's got to be someone. So
yeah,
might as well be me.
Generally, these people sort of fall into those roles. I'm very happy where I sit with these things. I generally try to sort of be behind. I recognise what being the tip of the spear is, and that you take the brunt of the damage. And I try to sit there to try and help repair and
you do.
Keep that spear flying through the air.
You do. You do.
Flesh. So
you do, and you keep it on track.
Well, I try. Like I said, I don't even know really what's happening at the moment very much. Got some basic ideas because once you're in politics, you can never totally ignore it. But
no.
So there's just a couple of changes that's going well. So just so people are aware of those, and of course the Victorians Against the Great Forest National Parks. That is still that same page. It's still primarily about that issue, and we'll discuss later. We've had a win, but that war isn't over. The battle might be won.
Yes. They won the battle, but not the war.
So before we get into that, we'll do some good news stuff.
You start, because I don't have anything yet.
Well, we went out last Wednesday. I cannot remember the name of the area between Shepparton and...
Katunga.
Katunga, there we go. And we helped a farmer out there. We took a few bags of feed.
That was fun.
Dropped off some feed. What did they give you? A handful of chilies?
Yeah, cayenne peppers.
Peppers. And I decided to grab 3 ducks for myself and a quail for my daughter. Well, you got the ducks there.
I got the ducks.
Sorry? Yeah.
Those bloody ducks. Wow.
They are actually really cool ducks.
They
I
are. But they were like being in the back of my ute. That was I didn't handle that well, did I?
You were more worried about them than you needed to be, but that's yeah.
I'm like that though. I have to look after my animals. And then now we've got this is them in at home at their new home.
Yeah, with their aesthetic pond.
That looks like they're pretty happy.
Well, they were happy to. That was a long trip in the car.
It was, and when we went to the supermarket and they in the back,
Yeah,
they look pretty happy. And then the little quail.
Yeah, picked up little quail for my daughter. So she already had 3 quail, and I decided since we were there and they've got quail, we got her another one.
I can't believe how much they poo.
Well, birds just pretty constant. So, look, and Dusty's wearing a good hoodie there. You guys should get yourselves a good hoodie like that.
Oh, I actually uploaded a whole heap more of children's sizes just this morning, and I think I'm going to do a bit of a discount code today. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a discount code, guys, and send us photos on pages of you wearing the hoodies and stuff.
We love those.
Yeah, and it keeps feeding the algorithm, which is something, when you're into the social media, you gotta give the algorithm what it wants. So those things are always good. Wholesome fun with the family in your hoodies or t-shirts, or moving rocks off the road up Lacola Way, whatever it is.
Legends.
Yeah.
I've got your what you made with Dusty here too.
Yeah, so I decided to help her move her fairy garden into the quail cage.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Together.
That's so cute. These little quails live in this little fairy pen.
Yeah, they're fairy.
Oh, I love it.
Anyway, that's probably a bit boring for everyone else. You and I, we had a bit of fun with that though.
Yeah.
And of course, who doesn't like a fairy garden? So, guys, give us a like for the fairy garden.
Yeah.
That's not that hard. Where we dropped the food off, they were very appreciative. Obviously, that's come through you guys donating to the GoFundMe. They had cattle, some sheep. They're also helping. I believe it's their son with his property. He's got trying to keep animals fed, so they're going to take some of that food to them, and it just gives them, another about a week with the amount of livestock they have to come up with a bit more money to keep themselves going. So good little break for them.
Yeah, and it was really nice to meet them too. They were lovely people. They do a lot for their community when they're able to. They actually have like a food share thing for the stuff that they when they do have food to spare, they would put all their crops and stuff like that, the stuff that they grow and the eggs and stuff out on the road and share them with their neighbors and everything, but they haven't been able to lately. So yeah, it was nice to be able to help people who help others as well.
Yeah, and the council gets a little bit in the way of that thing they were doing, but
yes. And I also drove all that way in a moon boot.
Yeah, because you still won't let me drive.
Because I have control issues.
Yes. Well, at least you managed to control the car. I'm pretty comfortable with you driving.
Yeah. So, I'm a mad driver.
Sorry?
I'm a mad driver.
No, I'd say you're pretty sedate.
No, that's what I mean. I'm a good driver. You should see when something comes out in front of me, I'm like straight onto it. Like I did a defensive driving course when my dad made me do it when I got my license. And ever since then, I can pull myself out of anything.
I did an offensive driving course. It's called being 18. I never really got over it. Yep. Still love mashing that foot down on the accelerator.
Oh, I do that, but I get myself out of trouble doing it. So.
So what else? I think. Oh, so the other thing they do with the community is I actually work with the lady. She, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give away who they are, but there's another organisation I work with on a lot of this political stuff, and she's in that team as well. So, you know, she's active trying to make life better for other people, and it was nice to give something to make a
She
little
was
bit.
lovely.
She is lovely. Yep. And I didn't get any footage of your car on the road this time.
No.
Look,
No.
given up videographer.
Well, it was so windy there.
Yeah, it's just a long drive. I didn't really want to do extra backwards and forwards. You would have left me on the side of the road.
I would have.
Yeah.
I would have. Yeah.
So we'll move on. So the other thing is you've had the signs made up. Those lovely welcoming signs to anybody else.
Yeah.
There they are.
And they're quite
popular, how they go.
They're quite popular. I'm actually, after I get off here, I have to laminate. I've got one order for 40 of them, double-sided laminated. So I'm going to be laminating all day. And
Okay, so they were papering their shop or something.
Yeah, they're for shops. They're in businesses for putting shop windows so you can see it on both sides. And
But 40,
yeah,
I can only imagine they're doing the whole wall.
I can imagine that they're doing a lot of businesses. There's been a Tim came out, and not you, Tim, different Tim, came to Alex and picked up a whole heap and spread them all the way around Yark and Bonnie Doon and all the way to Wang, basically. People are loving them. They're just chucking them up in their businesses. So, yeah, if anyone's wanting them, we have them. I've got them, the basic ones that aren't laminated because the laminating takes a lot of time and a bit of money. But I'm just trying to make back what I paid for them. So I'm doing 50 cents each. If you want a big bundle of them, hit me up and we can sort something out. But yeah, I'm actively posting them all out at the moment.
So if you know a few people want them, organise the order together, I suppose, and just get them delivered to one address and then share them out from there is probably not a bad go.
And yeah, they're available on our shop, and I'll put the link in the video bio.
Yeah, and these are more specifically about the tax or the emergency services levy, but I mean also in there is Victorians Against the Great
There's a lot of issues.
There are
a lot of issues, and I made like a list. So I made like a thing, like if you are sick of what all the stuff that's happening in Victoria, and I was like the blatant overreach. So they're now going to let you're going to be fined up to $12,000 if you try and stop an AusNet or a renewables power company from coming onto your farmland. You're going to be fined. Like, this is just, it's
so just
it's crazy.
To clarify something there. Your private property farmland, you'll get fined for not letting them on.
Yes, and you can be arrested. So it's like, it's a bloody, so like total. Oh my god, I'm so tired. No, you know what I'm trying to say.
I know it, but I'm going to struggle to say it. Totalitarian.
That one. Totalitarian.
Yep.
It's draconian. It's just ugh.
Look, we like to call them communists and stuff like that. I have to be honest, from what I can see, it's more like fascists. They're not trying to own everything. They just make sure that they've got control over everything, and that's essentially the only difference. Fascism.
What about them taking back the SEC?
Yeah, well, I think there's some unholy love child of communism and fascism.
Yeah,
which is kind of because those things are typically the same.
Hitler was a nationalist socialist, so there's always a double up there. So, but yeah, so like race-based virtue signaling, which at the moment we're going to have another big fight on our hands here with the Europe Justice Commission recommendations, the 100 ones that they've presented to Parliament, and
we're going to get into that a little bit.
Yes. It's a tricky one, and we are currently working on things, but I read through that whole report and I was infuriated. So yes.
Do we want to get in that conversation a little bit? We'll do a more in-depth as well.
I'll do it more in depth when I've got all of the information that I need. But basically, the thing that I will touch on right now is that they're actually demanding that the Public Land Act be changed. What are you doing? What is that?
No to the voice.
No. So that they've actually they've demanding that the Public Land Act, which it is being restructured to make it easier for native title claims, and they want a few things taken out of the Native Title Act that that they shouldn't have to prove that they have connection to country to be able to get the native title over that area. They've pointed out that there's like 8.8 million hectares of public land, which we know because we've just fought our butts off to stop them from being turned into national parks. They quote that number, and I just don't like it. I need to.
I think the sense then is that yes, so we won the battle in that Labor said we're not making any new national parks, but now we've got this voice thing that wants to come in, and obviously they're sort of claiming, well, we'll take control of that land then.
But the thing is, this is a bunch of activists, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the people need to realize that there is 1% of Victorians identify as Indigenous. That was at our last census, right? So out of that amount of people, there was only like, I think it was 30 or 40% that turned up for the vote. So
yep.
This is the activists that got in. Some of these people who are on the First People's Assembly and all that type of stuff, they got in with 40 votes. Like, it's just silly how it's all set up. It's quite alarming that we have activists demanding things. And when I say activists, I mean people like Lydia Thorpe and people like that are, there was genocide and all this type of stuff. And so we need to remember that this is not the average Indigenous person living in Victoria that wants these stuff. This is the government, for one, is pushing it. They're funding all of this. They gave out funding for them to actually make these groups to come up with treaty to discuss treaty. So they actually even had to tell people that they would get like $50 fuel vouchers if they attend these meetings and everything, because the Aboriginal people don't even want to go to these meetings. Like, it's so stupid, it's so divisive, and we need to remember that it's our government that's doing this. Jacinta Allen has come out and said, after looking at all the recommendations that infuriated me to the point where I was screaming through the phone to Tim, she has said that nothing's off the table and has basically given free rein. So it is our government who are doing this, not the Aboriginal people that we know and love. And
the very easy point that you're trying to make,
I'm all over the shop.
Is, look, there are people from all backgrounds, cultures, whatever, and some of those people suck and some of those people are great. We're talking about specific activists here that at least identify as First Nations, and so so those individuals suck. I don't like, and I don't want to see people on our pages and in our comments ripping into a whole culture.
Yeah. That's not what we're about. We're not about that.
However you want to look at it. I don't believe in different races. I believe we are one race. We are the human race. That's it. Treat us equally. And that's why I'm against this, because it doesn't treat us equally. It takes pain from the past, applies it to now.
When none of us,
it's very. So.
None of us, like, this is what infuriates me. You know, it's not like any of us, or even our ancestors. Like, it's basically like what they're wanting reparations and everything for is from what things that happened in 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
So there's massive, you know, it's 2 centuries since then. Like 3. Well, I just don't. I don't know. It's a tricky one. We're going to be doing this carefully, and you know, I don't want racism. But you know, we're all in a cost of living crisis. Labor does, but we're all in a cost of living crisis right now. All of us are struggling. So for this, you know, group of activists to turn around and say they want this reparations, all this money from the government and everything like that, that really pissed me off. Because where does that money come from? The taxpayer purse. So they don't give a crap about the fact that we're all struggling, when, you know, I have to stop.
In a lot of the cases, when it comes to these activists, they are in fact racist. They do not like white people. I mean, and it's not just that. I mean, they don't like Indians or any immigrants that are here.
Colonizers. You're all colonizers.
So they are racist, and so no, they don't care that you're struggling. They couldn't give a stuff. In fact, they'd probably encourage it. And also, a lot of them are outright, no one will admit that they support socialism and communism. They'll never say fascism, but like I said, there's not much difference. So, you know, you are talking some of the worst people from that culture, from our Indigenous culture.
And look, there are some really good people. There's some really good people, and it's that's why it's so hard. But this is what our government wants. Our government wants to divide us. They want us to turn against each other, and for this to become like an apartheid state. And that's where we're heading. And the only way that we stop that from happening is we turn around and say, no, we're not going to be racist, and we're not going to allow division within our communities. And we see right through this, and we see that this is the government doing this.
Yep.
That's the only way we get past this.
Don't give the government what they want, and they want us to be divided, and they don't really care what the reason is.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Generally, anyone powerful will make sure anyone beneath them's, that they can't organise groups together.
And that's what
shooting communities and all that sort of stuff as well. They're always fighting amongst themselves instead of standing up for each other. It's frustrating.
Yes,
they're good at.
There's a big, yeah. I don't even want to think about it at the moment. I'm so tired from just everything. Like, I worked out the other day, 425 days of running that group non-stop. I had 2 days where I had no internet, where I was forced to a cabin with no internet and got tricked. But it's yeah, I'm just. But anyway, so let's go on to the win that we had, the small win. So we've won the battle, we haven't won the war. But and I did put out another video, which you can find on our YouTube a bit below, explaining that, this hasn't been a union thing. It's the people. The people have made this happen. So, but the minister is actually publicly saying now that they won't be legislating the Great Forest National Park. They want nothing to do with it, and which we did know. Like, we did know that it wasn't popular with the minister, with Dimo, from the meeting that we had with him in September last year. But you never trust a politician, and we were like, if they make it so that it can bring the state money, which they've even tried that. They tried to make it into a green bond investment, and so we didn't know if we were going to be able to stop it from happening, but we have stopped it for now. Now we continue on because we are going to have to cut the head off the snake, and so this doesn't pop up again in another 4 years. So I will keep everyone updated on what we're doing behind the scenes there when I can, but I do have a plan, and it will see the head chopped off. But I can't say anything publicly yet.
The snake is not a native snake because you're not allowed to kill native snakes. So
no,
cutting the head off.
it's not literal.
No,
and,
I know. Fun.
What I also did yesterday, we all know, we've heard the claim that 80% of Victorians support the creation of new national parks, even though we had the 40%, the 40,000 plus petition against any new national parks that was heard in Parliament, and these people still try and Redbridge polling said blah blah blah. Our survey shows that 4 out of 5 Victorians want the creation of new national parks. So I actually pulled that survey apart, showed you all what the questions were. Like, do you enjoy nature? Do you support the protection of native animals? And literally, if you were to say no on anything to do with that survey, you're basically saying, I hate trees, I hate the environment. Like,
yeah. Unless you already know what they're playing at.
And then they bring in and we've got this proposal for the Great Forest National Park that's like the last question, but apparently it's a survey for the Great Forest National Park. So we pulled it apart. that's there in a YouTube link. It's on Facebook, but the YouTube link, if you see anyone sprouting this stupidity like that you see on screen, throw that YouTube link up. I want these greenies to see that we know that their survey's full of shit.
Now, I want to do a quick rewind. Okay, so back to the point I was going to make before. The reason we have wins like that, where we get, the Labor's coming out now, they're saying, no, we're not going to be doing the national park. Let's not forget the work that went in, and I'm going to, particularly you guys out there, the people. So, yes, there's all people behind the scenes. There's different organisations, some of them working closely together, some of them not so much. But
everyone plays their part.
But everyone plays their part, working towards the same goal. Now, when a minister's given a role, that minister still has to convince the rest of the party room, basically his uppers, his leaders, of what he thinks is what the party needs to do. What makes it very easy for him to go back and go, guys, they've got a petition with over 40,000 signatures on it.
Oh, yeah.
But, I'm saying that I think it shouldn't go ahead. There's this huge petition. There's all this activity. There's all these different organisations all popping up. There's this weird Carly Murphy, Sheila, and that other bloke that hangs around, Timbo or whatever his name is.
Right? Oh, Labor love us.
But there's all this stuff, different hunting organisations, and they're doing their own thing against it as well. And
it wasn't any one organisation is basically what I had to come out and say.
There wasn't one organisation.
But they will try.
Yeah, bit bigger and smaller roles in it, but all of them were equally important. And at the end of the day, it was you guys getting in there, signing petitions, spreading stuff around social media.
Getting loud.
You're what makes those wins happen.
Yeah. That's what I wanted people to, because when I saw Field and Game had come out about the ETU and everything, and I was like, I don't want this to be taken away from the people in our group who have worked so bloody hard for the last year. Like, some of them have been in there since day one. May 7th, they joined the group. They've been in this. They've been firing off emails. They've been buying merch. They've been putting signs up. They've been coming to every event. That has been huge, and I did not want that taken away from the group members. That
we don't take away the work that Field and Game do, or
because they've all got, and of course they're working. They have regular meetings with the government. They have easy access to the government, and that's part of what they do. They advocate for you. So we had to work our butts off to actually get a meeting with the minister, and the fact that a Facebook group still got this far and are stakeholders now with the government, that's still insane. That just shows how passionate and how amazing the work was that all of you did. So don't let that be overshadowed by a union or any one organisation.
Every organisation needs to sell themselves to an extent and say, hey, look what we're achieving. And I'm going to agree
against
with them largely, but yes, you guys were a part of achieving that, absolutely. And take the win, take the celebration, let your people know. But I like how the Prospectors Miners Association, Victorian Association, they did theirs, but they took their credit for their hard work. I'm not sure if you saw their social media posts. They mentioned you, they mentioned the page, they mentioned Bush Users United. They went through a list and then and we're sorry for anyone we haven't recognised or we've forgotten. That I thought was a brilliant post. Yes, it was. Let your people know.
Yeah, and that's what I said about the whole video is all about is there was so many different organisations that have been in this, and some of them been fighting it for 14 years. Like this whole thing's been. I've only popped up in the last year. So I don't know why our group took off like it did. I think it was just a groundswell because of native timber, the logging stopped. So there was no literal reason for this stupid park, and they couldn't use the logging sob story anymore to try and get this park across. And I think that's the only reason why people felt like they were able to publicly come out and say, no, we don't want this park. But before that, it was just organizations, and it was, people were, it was all about Vic Forest, Vic Forest bad, Vic Forest this and that. This time it was against the public. It was about the people.
Mm.
And everyone did an amazing job.
Yep. And so probably, I think we're wrapping up. In closing, keep an eye out. One of the ways we make sure this battle win becomes a war win is we keep looking after our bush. So if you're out there camping, take enough space, take enough bags to clean up someone else's rubbish if they're leaving a mess. Look after I know most of you guys, at least, probably everyone who watches this, are really good, but encourage this culture within our movement, within people that are using the bush. There's a lot of young people come along and they're just having fun. They haven't learnt how to really enjoy and actually be a part of our natural, of our wilderness, of our public land.
Be a bush user, not a bush abuser.
That's it.
And we've still got all of our merch. If you want, we're still pushing that message. We're going to be pushing that message for a long time to come, because there's a lot of education that needs to happen. There's a lot of volunteering and stuff that we need to do, active management where we can, and let's just do what we can to stop this from ever popping up again, because it's not needed.
Each and every one of us is a part of the solution. And if you're from another state you're visiting, because I know there's a lot of people from other states that are on our side that want to help out, there's not actually much they can do because it's state politics. But when you come here, leave it cleaner than what showed up, and that helps us enormously. So, was there anything else, Carly, or you?
I'm brain dead.
You're brain dead? That's not surprising.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Pretty good to jump on and do a podcast even though you're tired. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Carly will put out clips, so if you don't like long form,
we'll do short form.
Short ones. If there's a particular clip of this you want to share around for any reason, let Carly know what that is, and she can maybe cut that up. She might ask me to do it, but it'll never happen. I suck with this stuff.
He doesn't know how to use. He doesn't know how to use anything.
I know how to answer my phone.
Yeah.
So, anyways, guys, appreciate your support. Enjoy the win, but the war will go on. So don't go away just yet.
Thanks, guys.